Hey, what's up, Karaka here, and today I'm here with another Digimon card game deck profile. Today we'll be going over the deck for the Titamon. This is with the BT7 updates, so if you guys are looking for a BT6 build, then this is not it, because I did build this deck in BT6, but I didn't feel like it was quite optimized just yet. But I really like the current build, so without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the Digitamons, we are running 4 of the Sunamons and 1 of the Chibi Meramon. So Titamon is good because you can kind of do a hand refresh, and it helps you kind of refresh the cards that you discard. So it's a pretty good card overall. Next, for the level 6s, we are running 4 Titamon. This is the main win condition. You want to use this to just beat your opponent's face with it, and there is a way to unspend this Digimon, so we're gonna be talking about that later. But it is swinging for a pretty decent number. It'll be swinging for at least 14k with a security check if you have discarded this turn, which is not that hard to do in this deck. So yeah, there's that. Next, we are going to be running 1 of each Millenniumon and Omegamon Schwart. So these are just here as your contingency plans. It's here for a little bit of removal, and this is just here for you to flood the field with monsters that you can potentially win the game with next turn. But this is not really a card that you really need to use all that often, and that's why we're running one. It's a very niche card you need to use. Next, we are running 2 Anubis Mod. This is the second win condition of the deck. With the new BT7 stuff, the Eyesmon is pretty good. So we're going to be running these so that you can have them attack with haste, and also getting to call a free mon on the field when it's evolved is also pretty good. The 10k base is a little bit of a problem, but there are ways to buff it up a bit. So we'll talk about that later as well. Next, we are running 4 Black War Grabon. So this is mainly here to make your Titamon attack twice. Its Digiburst skill is optional. You can use it if you want, but most of the time you're probably not going to use it. The only time when it is useful is when you Digivolve on a bunch of Digimon that doesn't have evolution sources, which is kind of rare, so there's that. Next, we're running 2 Skull Greymon. When this card is discarded, you can put this at the bottom of one of your Digimon's evolution sources. And the second skill is when this card attacks, you can discard a card to have this card get plus 3k, so it's a 10k attacker. And inherit skill just gives it Revengeance, or I think, what's it called in English? Retaliation, I think. So it just gives it retaliation, which is pretty good because your Titamon will be pretty vulnerable when it's in rest. So your opponent's going to probably try to find a way to crash into it, or if they do sacrifice a big Digimon, they're going to have to lose that as well. So this is just kind of a defensive option. Most of the time you'll be discarding this and not actually using it to Digivolve. And next, we are running 2 Rebellionmon. This card can be swapped with Lady Debumon if you want, but I personally like the Rebellionmon more. On evolution, you can discard a card from your hand, and this card will gain blocker and retaliation until the end of your opponent's turn. So basically, this is going to be a 7k blocker with retaliation. So it's a pretty decent card. Of course, this only works on the turn that you Digivolve, so it'll turn into vanilla next turn. But for its intended purposes, having it up for that one turn is enough for the stall, and then you can set up for your other turn to go into Titamon and do some other stuff. Mainly because the main Digi Evolution Source State card that you want is the Black War Grabon. So if you don't get that, then not having anything and just stalling is kind of the next best way to go. Next, we are running 2 of the Ogremon from EX1. So this one is when this card attacks, you can discard a card from your hand to get extra security check. It is only 5k, but the attack is has an expertise check, and if you do high roll into a bunch of rookies, then you just got some cheap shots in, which is pretty nice. The evolution source skill is also pretty good because if you don't have a rookie that can help you discard, then this will help you discard and help you get power as well. Next, we are running 2 of the Kinkumon with the haste. Just mainly here to just mainly here to have haste when you play it with your Titamon. Get some cheap shots in. Next, we're running 4 of the regular Kinkumon. So this card just helps you get memory when you discard. So effectively, if you have an evolution chain with the Titamon, it's a 3 cost to evolve. So that's pretty good for that. Next, we're running 1 of the Evilmon. This is just here for a blocker. It's pretty handy. You don't need to do that many because this deck aims to kill fast. So having 1 blocker is enough just for that stall. And we also have the Rebellion as a blocker as well. So we don't really need to run too many of the other blockers. Most of the time when you do draw into this, you're just going to chuck it into the trash so that you can play it with other effects instead of actually evolving into it. Next, we are running 4 of each Eyesmon. So this is the regular Eyesmon, and this is Eyesmon Scatter Mode. So let's talk about Eyesmon Scatter Mode first. When this card's deleted, you can draw 3 and discard 2. And this Eyesmon is when this card is discarded, if you have Eyesmon Scatter Mode in your trash, then you can play this card for free. And then the second skill is for every Eyesmon Scatter Mode you have in your trash, this card gets plus 2000 power. So this card is really good in this deck, obviously, because when you discard this, you get to play a free level 4 from your hand, pretty much for free. And that's really good, and especially if you have the Anubis Mod on your field, you can potentially go for a game just using this. Basically, what you want to do is we'll talk about that once we go through the rest of the deck first. But yeah, you can go for a good few hits with this combo, and it's definitely a really good alternate win condition in addition to the Titamon. Next, we are running 2 Gazemon. So this is here to help you deny your opponent's memory gains. Mostly it's effective against Lilithmon loops if they don't have the Lady Devimon. Next, we're running 2 of the vanilla Devimon, Demi Devimon. Just a little vanilla option for you to play around with memory. Next, we're running 4 Grabon from the start deck. So when this card attacks, you can discard a card to draw a card. This card's obviously really amazing in this deck because you can discard, which helps you proc Titamon's cost, or Titamon's skill. Next, we're running 2 of the Goblimon. This card's not as good, but it helps you beef up your Digimon's power, so it's not bad. Mainly, you actually want to beef up your Anubis Mod since it's pretty weak. If you are trying to attack with it, you want to have at least 1 of these up. Next, we're running 3 Yamato. This is just your memory reset, and it's one of the best options we have for this deck because you can grab useful stuff from your trash back. And last but not least, we're running 2 Grave Memory Boost. This is just to help you grab Digimon from your trash, as well as having the delay ability is pretty good to help you extend your combos. So it's pretty good. Overall, this deck is really fun. It's not as good as the Lilithmon Loop deck, honestly, because you kind of need to hit into your combo pieces in order for you to really go off. But nonetheless, this deck is still really fun, and I think you can still do a lot of really interesting combos with this deck. There's a lot of ways to win with this deck. It doesn't really have a single win condition. And as you can see, this deck is really level 4 heavy. which is okay because the Eyesmon scatter mode is 4 cost, so you can hard cast this from your hand and it won't really hurt that much. So yeah, let's go on to the combos. Alright, so let's go into the combo duration of the deck. These are the main, I guess, the most important ride chains you want to, not ride chains, the evolution chains that you want to go into. I guess the Ogremon, the Titamon one is a little bit more set. You really want to have the Gabumon, at least one Digimon with the discard effect, and then having the Kinkumon will help you get the memory cost so that you can Digioff this for 3, and then having the Blackboard Grabon is definitely ideal so that you can swing for twice with 2 security checks. Next, the Anubis Mod one is a little bit more flexible. It doesn't really matter that much what you want. You can have nothing here if you want. If you Digiburst it with this and go into the Anubis Mod, that is perfectly fine as well. Most of the time this will be kind of here just on the board. You're not going to be attacking with it that often since you just want to have you just want to be able to give out your passive abilities. But if you potentially have the Ogremon and the Gabumon in its source, it definitely makes things a lot easier, especially if you have the Eyesmon in your hand. So if you have something like this, you can go attack, discard cards from your hand. You can perhaps just discard a bunch of Eyesmon. And then these automatically come out to play because you discard them, assuming you have the scatter mode in your trash. So you really need to have the scatter mode in your trash. So if you have this in your trash and you attack, you discard these, you get 2 more Digimon on the board. So you don't have to worry about your, even if this one crash, it's fine because it already gave the rush to the Eyesmons. So if it's dead, it's fine. If it's not dead, then you can decide if you have another weaker Digimon. For example, if you played a Digimon with that, most of the time we're going to go for the highest powered one, which is probably the Digimon. You can either attack with this, and then if it dies, it's fine. If it doesn't die and you attack with this, you can pop this and unsuspend this, so you can attack again. Of course, most of the time it will die because it is a 2 cost, but you can pop it or you can use this 2 attacks. Most of the time I'll be attacking with this if they don't have a blocker, mainly because if this attacks and it dies, you can't do anything. So attacking with this is better because attacking it, popping it, this dies, you don't get your second attack. If you attack with this, don't unsuspend it if you have nothing to pop. At least you can still get those 2 attacks first, and then you can still get these 2 more attacks. So that's 4 attacks already. And these are obviously, these will be pretty big. These get 2k for every Eyesmon scatter mode in your trash. So if you have 2 or 3, or even 4, if you have 4, that's really, really good. That's a 8k buff. So that'll turn it into a 13k, which is really, really, really good. And another thing you can do is if you do have Anubis Mod on the board, it doesn't really need to have anything, and you have a Eyesmon scatter mode on the field, you can attack with it. If it crashes, that's great. You draw 3, discard 2, you draw 3, and then if you have these in your hand already, you just discard them, and then these will go into play with haste, so you can attack with these as well. So overall, it's just a really strong deck, and it works with Titamon as well. If you don't have, for example, if you don't have the Gabumon, you have the Gobblemon instead, and you don't have any way to discard, that's fine. If you have a Eyesmon on the field, let's see, where is it? Assuming this is from your previous turn, you can just crash with this, and then you'll be able to discard and you'll be able to get the extra security check from your Titamon. Alternatively, you can evolve into this, sit into this, or play with your Titamon, and then you can sit for a turn if you are feeling like your opponent can't kill you, or you can just attack with this and then wait for next turn and finish your game. But yeah, nonetheless, Titamon is a fun deck to play, and with the Eyesmon, I think Anubis Mod will be the best partner for Titamon right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a really cheap deck to play as well. I guess there's not really anything expensive. I guess these ones might be the most expensive cards in the deck, but we're running one of each, and these are not even mandatory to play. So it's a really fun budget deck to play, and if you get into the combo pieces, you can even outplay some of the higher tier decks right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Kartaku, and I'll see you guys next time.